What's going on, everybody? Jorge Aquino coming to you live and direct. It is Tormenting Tarmac, the podcast where the enthusiast never dies. Coming at you live and direct from the west side of the PHX. We're right here in Surprise. This is a cool one because this is the episode before the big episode, which makes it a big episode. This is episode number 149. I can't believe it. If you would have asked me like 3 years ago when TT started, if we would have gotten to like 20 episodes, I'd have been like, you're crazy. So instead, we made it to 149. That way, everybody can be like, wow, Jorge, you're actually doing something cool. That's because I've got cool friends like the two people that are joining me on tonight's podcast. This one's really special to me, everybody. Because if you've been following Tormenting Tarmac from the very, very, very beginning, if you go all the way to January of 2022, these two individuals were the first ever local guests, and they've also become very good friends of mine, and I'm very grateful for their friendship. But they were the first two local guests, probably first two to ever really believe in me here in the Phoenix area, and so that's why. And they've been on the podcast a bunch, of course, because they're good friends of mine. But it's more so we're kind of throwing it back to the year of our Lord 2022. So that being Alex Sczudlo is joining me. What's going on, my friend? Great to see you.
Hello, hello.
Awesome. And then, of course, KRC Auto, that's Kaitlyn Clink, who hasn't been on the podcast for a year and a half, and she's back, and I'm so excited. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you.
It's good to see you. It's nice to be back. This is super fun.
It is always a blast. It's a blast when you guys are both on. I think last time Alex was on was season finale, of course, Nights of the Photography Roundtable, which has become kind of a staple of this respective show. Kaitlyn's been on, of course. Kaitlyn is a Night of the Photography Roundtable. It's just because she's in Houston, she's basing herself really out of Houston now. She's very rare
far now.
You are. I mean, when you get out here, you're barely out here for too long because you're here to visit family and things of that nature, which I respect. And all that. So that's why it's always such a treat when you go ahead and get a chance to go ahead and hang out and all that good stuff. But yeah. Well, since you haven't been on the podcast for a while, let's start with you for 1 second, because, a lot of things has changed. You are officially self-employed. You're a social marketing specialist for a variety of different automotive businesses in the greater Houston area. You're still doing your car photography. You're doing so much. How does it feel? And I have told you this before in the past, but really now, especially now that you own your own business, I don't know if you call it KRC, it's Incorporated or whatever you want to call it.
I just call everything KRC Auto. It's just everything under that brand. Yeah.
I think you should go ahead and just get that tattooed on the back, on the back of your arm.
I might as well maybe across my forehead on that.
Yes, let's go. But let's kind of start there, because obviously you've had your photography business for such a long time now, but now you've gone ahead and grown it into everything social media marketing for so many people. Like, what happened? Was it one of those things where you were sitting in your living room and you just said, hey, you know what, now it's maybe time to go into business for myself and kind of just expand? Like, what was the thought process behind it all?
Pretty much. I mean, my previous job, I just wanted to leave and I wanted to see what I can do on my own. So I made the jump. And making the jump was very scary because nothing was put in place. I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't have something in place when I made the jump. So it was kind of make this work or go find something else. And luckily, I have built up a pretty decent community in Houston because I've spent so much time networking and just making friends and just meeting clients enough that when I did make that jump, I reached out to several companies that had either approached me or I was considering approaching. I said, hey, this is what I did for this company. These are the results I produced. Is this something you want to do with me? And I was able to lock in a tire and auto shop, a company that sells fire extinguishers for track cars, a company that does wraps and tint and ceramic coats, and then a private dealership, a small dealership for supercars. And then I also do a lot of contract work, not management, but content for Expel Houston. Expel does have one in Scottsdale, but all the people at Expel Houston have become my good friends too. So those are kind of my monthly routine people that I get content or I'm posting for them. And those are the regulars, as well as just maintaining. I don't have like weekly or daily photo shoots with private clients. It's not like I'm at that scale to where every day is a new car. I maybe have one or two a week, or maybe during some months I have a handful, not many at all. And then the next month, everyone decides to book at the same time and I have a handful of shoots per week. But It's a lot of go, go, go. It's a lot of stress, but I'm very grateful that I'm in this position to be able to do it. And I value the flexibility more than anything because, like you said, I'm in Arizona visiting family often, and I like that I can do that. Um, but it's been a whirlwind. It's been very fun, and I'm very grateful for it.
I'm so proud of you, dude. And I've had the pleasure, and I think a variety of people that are close to you both, because you guys are obviously such good friends on top of that and everything. Over the last 3 years, I feel like I've really had the opportunity to go ahead and see you guys. Please don't take this the wrong way, but see you guys grow up, like and you guys are both grown ass women now. You're both in your mid 20s. You're both so successful.
Don't remind me.
Alex, no, no, you say that, Alex. You say that. I'm in my mid 30s now, dog. I'm closer to 40 than I ever have been, and
That's
I
okay.
genuinely had a freak out over at my desk earlier today when my wife was like, "Jorge, you're 36," and I had to be like, "Natalie, I'm 35. I turned 36 in October. What the anyways.
Yeah.
um so like, but I've had this opportunity to go ahead and see you guys grow up over the last 3 years. You've both changed your styles. You both have changed as women, as business women and things of that nature. Alex, like, you every single time you and I get a chance to go ahead and catch up, I always ask you, hey, what's going on with your social media, like this and that, what's up with photography? And for the last like year, I've noticed this like growth from you, not from the Instagram account, but just like automotive Alex is not a photographer anymore. She does photography, but I wouldn't say that you're a photographer anymore. You're something different, and in the coolest and most positive way. Like, how do you view yourself now as I don't know, would you like social media specialist, content creation? I don't know. How do you view it now?
I guess the goal was always to take Automotive Alex from being just a photographer to also being kind of a brand and more of an identity and make it more personal, more me, less just a photo of a car, more like, hey, here's some cool photos of cars I took, and like, here's a little bit more about me.
Right.
Mostly because, as I was growing my business, I realized like a lot of when it's coming, especially coming to Car Week, a lot of these like big events that are giving out media passes, they're not giving it out to the photographer, they're giving it out to the personality who also does photography. And I
Right.
realized I had to be a little bit more, put myself out there a little bit more, show a little bit more of my personality, kind of show people like who Automotive Alex is outside of just a photograph.
Mm. Oh man, you nailed it. Because again, and Kaitlyn, I know you can attest to this, because you and I have both known Alex for such a long time, and we knew
Mhm.
her as this like super shy gal, right? This super shy gal who
Yeah.
was like the coolest chick you've probably ever met. But then she, it's like, over the last 3 years, Alex, you like, you're so much more outspoken. You're so much more of an extrovert than you ever have been throughout our entire friendship. And like every single time I see you go to stuff and you're affiliated with things, like, I see what you're doing over at the warehouse. Like, I'm stoked for you. You know what I mean? Like, and like, it's just been this real growth that's been not just personal but also like emotional, that I'm seeing out of you both and whatnot. And it's been cool to say. It's been cool to see. Like, let me ask you this, because we saw this in January and whatnot. The what you did with the AZ lottery and Barrett Jackson and whatnot. Like, that was an insanely cool project. We can talk about that because it's obviously been like 5.5 months now. How
Yeah.
was that working on that for you?
That was a really cool opportunity. I never thought that I would have Arizona Lottery in my DMs being like, hey, film us a video. We hear you have a cool car. Um, so that was just kind of a cool opportunity. It's definitely interesting. Like you kind of get just, I'm sure Caitlin can attest to, like, you never really know where the message is going to come from or who's going to be like
Yeah.
the next person to kind of ask you to do stuff. And sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, wow.
Mm-hmm. That is a pretty cool opportunity. I remember seeing that and I'm like, that's just not what I would have expected next. But you never know what those kind of opportunities lead from that too. So that's just really cool.
Exactly. And with being a lottery, I was like, what does a lottery have to do with cars?
I also
I
were
know.
complimenting you by saying we love your car. So Arizona Lottery says you got a cool car. So that's also pretty.
I
But
mean,
then they were
it's not
like,
like
you know what? No, no, you're going to give away a Barrett Jackson ticket. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I'm
Yeah.
making the connection.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot
Yeah.
more sense. It's like for 1 second, it's like, I'm sorry, are you trying to ask me to give away the Aston? Because you can go ahead and like kiss my ass. No, when I because you told me like I think really right before everything popped off, but I had really no idea of what to expect. So when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, like this is this is crazy, dude. Like for lack of a better term. And like you filmed the commercial, you had the Aston, everything like kind of went together. Like, did you directed that all by your own, right?
I did.
How did that feel? What was the key for making that so as creative and personal to, I guess, have it be mixed in with your brand and also still be representing Barrett Jackson in the lottery?
I think it was really fun having the opportunity to kind of be creative in that way, since so often, like a lot of times, they already kind of have a script for you. They have something they want you to kind of follow, but they really just came to me and they said, hey, we like your car. We like what you represent. We need someone to talk about these. We're giving away so much money to be used at Barrett Jackson along with the bidders pass.
Right.
So we want someone in the car scene to kind of do this. Just and the lady goes, I don't know anything about cars, so have at it. And I was like, okay. So it took a couple of revisions where I was sending them different scripts that I'd come up with. So we kind of found one that we liked with the right wording, because obviously being a lottery, it's gambling, so you have to have all the right little legal mumbo jumbo
Yeah.
in there. So it took a couple of revisions to make sure we were working that in like fluidly. But it was really cool to have the opportunity to be creative and come up with something like that.
That's amazing. Can you, well, I mean, you don't have to go ahead and tell me as to whether or not this is going to be the case, but is there something now coming up in the works later on? Is that a relationship that's now blossomed into something? There could be a sequel to this, or is it kind of like, it's like whatever that happens, happens?
Honestly, I don't really see it going anywhere outside of what it's already kind of been, unless they have another giveaway or something they want me to do. Because I mean, at the end of the day, doesn't really the lottery unless it focuses on a niche in the automotive industry, it doesn't. There's not crossover between like again, it's gambling and an automotive
Yeah,
photographer. Like there's not until you get into like where that one kind of time where it was crossing over with Barrett Jackson. There's not
for sure.
much time that the two of them. You can probably hear the cat screaming in the
Well,
background.
no, it's all good. We can't hear Kovu, but hi, Kovu. How you doing?
Um, so sorry, I got so sidetracked.
You're
But
okay.
yeah, so I don't really see that kind of going anywhere. I have a lot of other stuff that I'm just kind of already focusing on this year. We have a
Right.
couple of big trips planned. So it's kind of like that's where I've been putting a lot of my focus this past year.
I got you. We'll go ahead and we'll pick that back up in just a second. But you know, we got into the creativity space, so I have to ask Kaitlyn because Kaitlyn, you mentioned about like 5 or 6 different businesses that that you are either managing their social media to some extent, or
Mhm.
that they are, that you're kind of working third party with them and whatnot.
Yeah.
One of the ones that I've really enjoyed the content of is, I believe it's the supercar dealership. Is it CLB? Is that what they are?
Yeah.
Yeah,
CLB
shout
Sports
out.
Card. Yes.
Yeah, they're killing it. They're killing it. Well, and I want to get to that in a second, but I have to ask you, how in God's name can you come up with the level of creativity that you do for someone that focuses on selling fire extinguishers for track cars? Because although the correlation is very much there, you
Mhm.
absolutely need to really nitpick to go ahead and try and make the focus of whatever their not what is it, their USP, their unique selling point and everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like take me and Alex into the mind of KRC for 1 second and kind of,
Okay.
if it's possible, because I know it's an absolute
Yeah.
whirlwind of a craziness in there and whatnot, but dumb it down for us. Like, how do you come up with something as creative as you can for something that is so niche? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this company, so that was not CLB Sports Cars. That's the
Right.
dealership, the OEM extinguishers. Yes.
Yeah.
So I kind of just had to come up with a vision for matching what Tyler's vision is, the owner of the company, on what does he want to show his customers? What kind of brand is he wanting to have? So every now and then I incorporate humor, but he really just wanted to cater to a more elegant audience now because so many of his customers are Porsches, they're Porsche people. So it's just all of the selling point is just if you're going to get an accessory for your car, it might as well have an insane safety perk. So
Right.
with all of these horses that are being taken to the track, or they're being driven hard on the streets legally, of course,
Yeah.
having has something color matched, and that's kind of his specialty, is paint matching to your car, which I
Mm.
am all about paint match everything. I absolutely love that. So to have an accessory like that, safety, that you can get the most insane color to match your Porsche, I think that's pretty cool. So every month I kind of just try to see what trends are happening, what audios are out there, and you definitely do have to get creative. I feel like my brain is constantly a jumble with all the clients because I just have to keep it all, separate and organized, but
Yeah.
always be brainstorming new ideas. And I love it, but it is a lot. And I mean, there's much harder jobs out there, so it's not that it's difficult, but to keep the creativity flowing,
Yeah.
it is a lot to work with. But
Well, don't sell yourself short there, Kaitlyn, because I agree. I think that there's a lot of jobs, whatever I do for a regular basis, what Alex does on a regular basis as our 9 to 5s and things of that nature. Uh,
Mhm.
the level of creativity that you have to put into to go ahead and make your clients happy and actually get, at the end of the day, it's not only going ahead and making sure that they're selling their stuff and whatnot, but really, because social media is so numbers driven and viewership driven, it's basically having the eyeballs on the product, right? So like,
Yeah.
don't sell yourself short, because like the constant staying ahead of the curve is
Yeah.
has got to be one of the most difficult things. And since I've known you, you have been one of those people that is always right there ahead of it just by a smidge. And I don't know how you do it, but like, holy fucking airball, dog. Like, it's pretty awesome.
Well, I really appreciate that. And it's a lot of fun. And I think because creativity is really where I have a strong suit. It comes to math, it comes to science, other things, I struggle. It's going to take me light years to catch up to what someone else might be able to
Me
do.
too.
It's tough out here, but we picked a creative field, and that's where we both
Yeah.
blossomed. So I found a way to be able to utilize, my degrees and what I learned in marketing and advertising, but also still getting to focus on cars and focus on
Yeah.
photography. So there's a couple little things that hopefully I'll have more to share on. And I hate jinxing things because every time I talk about something I'm excited for, it does get jinxed.
I hear you.
Um, but I have been partnering
Same.
with multiple brands, and I have a couple upcoming ideas. So hopefully, next time I'll have a little more to share on that. But it is pretty cool when bigger brands reach out to collab, or I have just, different companies interested, even on short term. I do a lot of short term contracts on people that don't necessarily want me to consistently run their page, but they want like a whole media package.
Right.
That's been fun too. But
How much of a collaborative effort is it with some of these brands and whatnot? Because as you
yeah.
stated, some of them you are the social media, others you
Mhm.
help with the social media and whatnot. For
Yeah.
those that you are helping with the social media, obviously they probably have their own social media team and whatnot. Are you
Yeah.
perhaps like giving guidance, or are you as fully ingrained with them and the ideas are flowing and bouncing? And how does that work?
Well, when it comes to brands like Expel, which is huge corporate, they have 80 different levels. They have a whole seamless system. I'm mostly delivering content, and they give me guidelines. Hey, we want, to see supercars, or we want to see SUVs, or we want to see, an even mix of PPF, ceramic, and tint. And then
Right.
I'm delivering product. And then the managers are running it from there. So that's kind of, I like having a mix like that, where after I deliver the content, it's done. I
It's
don't
on
have.
them. Yeah.
Yes. And I really like having a few of those, because if every client I had, I was managing their page, I don't think I could keep up, and my brain would become mush. And then there's other clients on the short-term projects where I'm only creating content, they're posting it, but I do give them pointers, or I recommend audios, or when they have questions, I'm happy to answer them. But they're smaller businesses that do have their own, people in-house just posting for them, but I try to help wherever I can, even if I'm just delivering content. And then the ones where I run their pages, some of them I've left, their contracts include I do message clients for them. Some of them I say, hey, DMs are yours. If you want to increase that, let me know. Otherwise, you're going to manage that, or that's going to be 8 hours of my day answering questions. So it's really a client by client basis on that.
Let me tell you something right now. There is nothing better than seeing KRC be someone's social media manager and responding to DMs. It is, or not DMs, but responding to comments.
Yeah. Oh, I have fun
That's
with
one of
it.
my, I know you do. And I think us as your friends, we see it from afar and we're like, oh my God, it is hilarious. Like it's not low key. It's very high key hilarious.
It's fun. I enjoy it. You got to make it fun, and you got to
You
stay.
do.
So Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's what you guys have done for such a long time is you've made your creative outlets be super duper fun. It's allowed you to go ahead and expand. It's allowed you to go ahead and grow. It's allowed you to go ahead and do what I'm assuming you guys didn't ever expect you guys would be able to pull off, but always dreamed of. And that's why I'm like, yes, like they're killing it. One of the other things that you guys have both been able to do is, for lack of a better term, have two of the most kick-ass cars I could have ever imagined my friends having. Obviously, the last two times that KRC that Kaitlyn was on, obviously you had already copped the ZL1. We talked about it when Johnny Lieberman, obviously, who clearly copied his GR Corolla color from your Rapid Blue in the ZL1.
Right.
And come on, Johnny, come on, brother,
he knows what he's doing. He knows
he does. I know. Shout out to Johnny. He was on the pod actually just a couple months back, so love that guy. And then Alex, the last time you were on, we already knew you had already copped the Vantage. The last time before that, I knew it was coming. We basically said we're not going to talk about it. You bought it 3 days later, and I was like, "Yo, what?" I was like, "How are you going to?"
She's ready.
I didn't know I was going to win the auction.
This is true. She didn't know. No, but like you've made so many changes to the car from December up until now. Obviously, the car is now wrapped in of course the iconic yellow that you are so well known. It's so killer. The wheels are different. You obviously went with silver wheels and everything. The car sounds the tits, for lack of a better term. How are you enjoying the Vantage as it sits right now?
So when I first got the Vantage, I'll kind of go this way. So when I first got the F80, actually, within a week, I'd already decided like, okay, I kind of know what I want to get after the F80. When I first got the Vantage and it was stock, I also was like, oh, I know what I want next. Like I'll keep the Vantage for 2-3 years, kind of see what the market does on McLaren 570s. Maybe that'll be the next car I jump into.
Damn, Alex.
I modified that thing. I said, oh, I don't know if I want to trade this in a couple of years. Now all of a sudden I'm like, I like the Vantage so much better because like when it's stock, it's a very quiet car. Like it doesn't have soul, it doesn't have character. So doing like an X5 secondary cat delete, the lowering springs, the wheels, the wrap, all that stuff, like just making it that unique. I'm so in love with the car that now I'm just like, who needs a 570? I'm gonna keep this.
Dude, honestly, like it's such a good car. And obviously the 4-liter twin turbo from Mercedes is like one of the best engines of the last like 25 years. Like it's become its own iconic engine within the Mercedes lineup and things of that nature. You took me for a rip for it when we went ahead and hung out in December, and like it felt as quick as your F80. Obviously it was not the you hadn't changed out the exhaust yet, you hadn't lowered it yet, still on the stock wheels and everything like that. And I felt like for 1 second I was like, wow, we don't feel like we're moving that fast. I looked over at the speedo and I was like, okay, just fucking kidding. We are moving. But because it was so planted and so chill, and again, it hadn't woken up yet, it's different because obviously the F80 was so loud, and in a good way, by the way. Like I loved how you had
it had popcorn for days. Just
hey, listen, for anybody who hates on an F80 or an F82 and it popping and stuff like that, I'm sorry. I'm still 16 at heart. I don't care, bro.
I love the pops on almost any car, so I don't blame you.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I had mine set to 12, like the maximum, and I had him set for 5 seconds of continuous burbles.
Dang.
Imagine just rolling around Scottsdale and everybody thinking it's like, who's firing off an AK-47? Oh no, it's Automotive Alex in an F80. I love it. But let me, Kaitlyn, not to be outdone, obviously has the ZL1, but then, KRC went Tron on us. Like she's a biker now, yo. Like you knew I had to bring that up, sis. You knew I had to.
That's true. I didn't have a bike
matches the car, which is amazing.
Yes.
That's what's so sick about it.
I was pretty excited. I mean, I figured that it was going to be similar when I ordered those fairings, but I did not expect it to be a perfect match. So that was
brilliant. Cool. Well, what's so funny is when you bought the first bike, so because you bought the ZL1 came in September of 23. Mm-hmm. I think you bought the bike honestly like a few months after that, because you've been riding now for well over a year now, right?
It hasn't even been a year. I got the
bike.
in July, I think.
Oh, really?
I
Okay,
had
my
been
bad.
wanting to ride for months, and it was
Right.
like one of those things I just hadn't pulled the trigger, and my parents were scared. And then I finally, over the summer, just did the course and bought my little R3, which I had for barely a month.
That's what I was getting at because you
Yeah.
literally had that for like a month and then you went up to like a 600 and I was like, damn,
Yes, but I
Kaitlyn.
put 1,200 miles on that bike. I wasn't just riding a little bit. I rode for hours every single day for a month, and that little tiny thing would not even, it was like full pinned it on the highway just to go 65. So I was like, okay, I need something more. And that's when
Yeah,
I got the black ZX6R.
right.
Um, yeah, and then after going down on New Year's on that bike, that's a story for another day, but I'm fine. Everything's good. I got a month later, I got the gray and blue one, and I was gonna leave it like that. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I had talked to my boyfriend about something, and so I picked the color, and he installed the fairings when they came in, and it was a perfect match to my
Yeah.
Camaro.
It's
Yeah,
so perfect. And you know what else is perfect? And I'm not going to go ahead and go too far into it, but I do love and trust me, I see him killing it too. And he's extremely creative himself, and I want to make sure that he
yeah,
gets
he
his
is.
due.
Yeah,
And we can make sure to go ahead and we'll prop his business up at the end of the episode because I feel like he
cool.
deserves it. Because I think
Thank
I
you.
mean, we might have some Houston people listening to the pod, especially if Kaitlyn's on and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
we'll definitely make sure to go ahead and prop his business up. But he seems like an extremely creative individual. Obviously, a
Yeah,
huge car and motorcycle enthusiast himself and whatnot. So
yeah,
he's definitely killing it. And it's very cool that he went ahead and helped you out with that and everything.
yeah.
Because like
Pierce is wonderful, and it's cool to be with someone that is self-employed too, so we kind of understand each other's struggles, but we also share that flexibility because having my
sure,
day be weird and weird hours is fun and all, but it's more fun when I have a partner that can do the same thing and go get coffee with me, or we go for a ride in the middle of the day, and then we both end up working all weekend because he's doing a garage floor and I have shoots. So I'm very grateful to have him, and his business is pretty cool.
no, that's awesome. I love that. Alex, could you ever see yourself riding? Because I know Steven rides. Can you see yourself riding?
You know, I've thought about it, but
Hmm.
honestly, I would be kind of scared too, just seeing how many people locally have gone down and just kind of
Sure.
hearing like Steven's rode for a very long time. And it's just like one of those things where we've talked about it and he'll be like, he doesn't even ride on the street anymore. He rides on the track and he has a
Mm.
list of like friends and he's like, these are all the friends I rode with when I was in Tucson riding Lemon all the time. These are the three that are still alive. And it's like, oh,
That
okay,
is
not.
very common,
I mean, it's
unfortunately.
not for the faint of
Very
heart.
scary.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Uh,
And it's something I admire and always appreciate and stuff like that. But you do have to have the right mindset, and B, you have to be mindful of your surroundings. Kaitlyn, you mentioned that you have to be mindful of your surroundings.
all
Um,
the time, 24/7. I assume every car is either going to explode or hit me because at some point someone will try to hit you or not see you, or you're in their blind spot, or there's debris in the road. And so I don't blame you at all, Alex. If it's not something you're really wanting and passionate to try, then don't stay in your vantage. It's badass. So
Yeah, no, I'm
I
I'm learning to track my Vantage and I'm very happy right there. I'm like
Yes, I've never tracked my car yet. I've tracked my other bike a few times, only two, and I'm hoping to take this one to the track, and
fun.
yeah.
that'll be fun. I do have full leather suit, so then it's definitely safer that way. But yeah,
No,
riding is definitely something you hear a lot of horror stories often, so
I,
it's definitely scary.
I need a Daft Punk liveried helmet, KRC, like ASAP. I need
Oh
it.
man,
Gotta make it happen.
I've seen some actually. They make some that light up like Tron. But if I got a Daft Punk helmet, that I don't even know how I would possibly get my hands on that, but that'd be pretty cool. I've seen them on eBay, not for motorcycles, but just Daft Punk helmets. But
Oh, dude,
insane.
I'm just saying, man, we need to go ahead and make that happen. We need to get
Yeah.
one client who pays you a strict amount, and all that just goes into potentially getting a Daft Punk styled helmet.
It would more just be how do I find someone to make it? It would probably be one of those like insane little Etsy sellers from like
Mhm.
freaking Germany that sells you Daft Punk helmets for 6 grand, and I would just have to somehow find that out there because that is a very niche very niche thing to find.
I
So
could
maybe
hear that.
someday.
I can imagine that. Let me ask you this though, because obviously now you've become so heavily ingrained in bike culture on top of car culture and whatnot.
Uh,
Now that you've been doing it for almost a year and whatnot, what have you come to find to be the similarities and perhaps differences between people who are into the car scene as
yeah.
opposed to the well, not I don't like car scene. Let's not say car scene, the car culture, right? The
Mhm.
car culture, which is what we're about, and then the
Yeah.
bike culture, in particular sport bikes and whatnot. What do you notice are the differences and the similarities?
There's a lot of differences and not nearly as much overlap as I was expecting.
Really?
Uh, well, the cost of entry for the bike community, you got 6 grand, you can go get yourself a piss missile that goes 200 miles an hour. So the type of individual is definitely very different. There's a lot more, as much as there's adrenaline in cars, there's a lot of adrenaline, but also just straight up crazy nonsense in the bike community. As much as I love it, it is a completely different environment. So when it comes to bike meets, I really only want to go in the morning or midday versus car meets. You can kind of go whenever and you're going to see fun stuff. Bike meets, unless you're looking to get arrested, don't show up to a night meet for bikes. So they're very different environments, honestly. And I love them both. And I love bike meets, car meets, all the above. Um, it's definitely a less calm crowd for bikes for sure, because everybody's wheeling and street racing, and you're more nimble when you're on something that's 300 pounds and goes 200 miles an hour. Mine does not go 200 miles an hour, but
Allegedly. I'm kidding.
no, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I
I
wish.
believe
I
you. I
actually
believe
I don't wish. That's insane. I don't even need that. But it's definitely been cool to see the difference. I mean, people are more, I'd say sometimes more welcoming in the bike community though, because the cost of entry it's not like, oh, you don't have a $400,000 STO, you can't park by me. It's just a bunch of people on their bikes having a fun time. So that's pretty cool, but two very different communities. So, and I don't shoot a ton of bikes in terms of like, I don't get a lot of clients with bikes, versus with cars. That's pretty much where I'm at. The bike people are more likely to not want to purchase a photo shoot. They'll just kind of wait to get free media. So
yeah.
I just kind of said, I'm there to chill. I'm there to, ride. I'm not there to really get as many clients out of it. Versus cars, I still want to make friends, but I do want to keep networking in that area.
Yeah,
So
I've noticed, based on what you've been able to go ahead and kind of show us, as you've been so grained into it, and I'm taking this directly from you. It's a lot more, chalanting, it's a lot more.
yeah.
I saw when you
Well
post.
said. Well said.
I'm telling you, I'm hip, guys. I'm hip. What can I
He's in the
say?
know. He's so up to date.
I'm
Way to go,
so,
Jorge.
Think you
thank
might
you.
be more up to date than I am.
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely can thank KRC for the holy effing airball thing from the other day because I saw it the first time like a week ago, and it was on a reel,
Yeah,
and I
the
was like,
trends. I do have to stay on the trends. I really
I
do. That's where
know it's
if you're not on
awesome.
it on time, you're too late. So I got to keep up with that for my
I'm not
clients. It's
smart
fun.
enough to go ahead and stay on the trend, so I just let all my friends do it, and I laugh and I giggle, and I'm like,
It's
I'm
not a
immersed.
lack of intelligence. I'm just brain rotted. I'm on social media often and I keep up with everything, and yeah, it is what it is.
I got you, Alex. You talked about like originally you thought to yourself, sticking with Vantage 2 to 3 years, going to a 570. Obviously, Steven had that 570 for a little bit, so obviously that's kind of where that intertwines because you got a chance to really.
Mostly just the price point of it being like, okay,
Oh,
what's
sure.
like looking at a 570 he had, because like you could pick up a 570 right now for 100 to 110, like if you're buying it like wholesale.
I know,
So from
so cheap.
if like when you're looking at the price, like the actual jump, like okay, like there was a 20 grand jump between the F80 and the Aston. What's that next jump? And that's
Yeah,
like that is the only car at that price point that would be considerable. But now I'm also like, it's not worth it. I like the Vantage.
yeah, and like the Vantage is cool because I think that when they came out with the body style that you now own, um, because of the depreciation that we had seen on the previous generation Vantage, which I think all of us on this call can agree, one of the prettiest cars ever made, regardless of era, right? And your generation Vantage didn't get as much love, and I think now 6 years to or 7 years after it's been around, because I think first year was 2019, so 6 years, right? I think everybody is starting to go ahead and like reappreciate, like, oh no, wait, that is actually a really a dope ass car. But then obviously it now having that Merc engine really makes that much of a difference. And so when people are buying it as a as a second owner or a third owner or something like that, all of a sudden you can basically, especially because the depreciation curve is now hit to a point where it's like, you can get in there, even though it's still, we know what the prices are and stuff like, but you can get in there and you can feel more comfortable about doing funner and cooler and more extravagant things or more customizable things that you can really enjoy that car as opposed to, oh, I got to keep the miles off my Aston, because I mean, we all know, Alex, how many miles did you end up putting on the F80 before I went away? Wasn't like
30,000?
30,000 is crazy for someone who barely goes anywhere. And by the way, I know and there's another person on this call who doesn't have an office to go to. And at one point in 3 months, put 3,000 miles in a ZL1 in the greater Houston area. You know who I'm talking to. Like, y'all are crazy. I love it. It's so dope. But like, I'm glad that Astons are being reappreciated now. And I almost feel like there's a re-emergence of the appreciation for the brand. I don't know if
Aston's just doing amazing. I mean, the Valkyrie,
they are
the Valhalla, the new Aston.
Vanquish.
Just they've completely rebranded themselves. They're no longer like an old man car.
Mm-hmm. Which there's nothing wrong with, don't get me wrong, because I still want a last gen Vantage because they're like 40 grand. And I'm like, if I went ahead and worked like 5 jobs, I could maybe swing that. Maybe. You know what I mean? But two jobs, dad, husband, and a pod, I'm dying inside. But
a lot on your plate.
It's I'm almost as busy as you, dude.
You beat me by a long shot. So give me 10 years and then I'll be a mom. But by then I'm wait that one out.
For sure. Can you see yourself as a mom with the ZL1? Please say yes.
I mean, I don't ever think you should give up your dream car if you can afford it. I mean, I would tell Pierce, I'm like, he really wants to get a specific car and I don't want to jinx it for him by the end of the year. And I would tell him, I would never not tell him to buy his dream car, but my mom car would either be a Raptor or an RS6 Avant if that's in the budget. I don't know. I'm assuming. I have no idea. I could maybe by then all I can get is a minivan. We'll see if I've spent all my money.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. How many times have I told you guys there's nothing wrong with a minivan?
You're right. I'm going to slam it in the roof box. And
yes.
And then you squint your eyes.
Yes.
You've got to put those little spinners on it too.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, what's a Busy Moto when he went ahead and built that 1,000 horsepower Honda Odyssey? What a G! You kidding me?
No, they're a great roller car.
Very true. That's a fair point. Didn't think of that.
Are. Yo, so explain to me how it's come to be that your daily became a roller here, Alex. And not only the SC430, how yes, SC430. I just want that. It's not an SC400. SC400 is the previous one, with the 1JZ. Yes. Explain to me how that became like the greatest roller car of all time, because you drop the top on that thing and it's like amazing.
Yeah, you drop the top 360 degrees you can shoot from when the top's down. It's so soft and squishy on the suspension. You don't get the jerks and the bumps. It just glides.
That's perfect. Honestly, perfect.
But it
doesn't really keep up, but
sure.
Hey, when you're doing rollers, as long as it can get to 60, however, in 3 to 5 business days, that doesn't even matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That car still has power though. That's plenty if you're just doing rollers and doing. That's like ideal, truthfully. Especially
is it more comfortable than a Kia Sorento? Because we've used Kia Sorento. Wow. Because I feel like the Sorento was up there in terms of like best roller cars ever, because it was actually like really plush. Not trying to go ahead and toot my own. It is too tall. We did come to that conclusion. Is this true? Okay. All right. I guess we have to retire the Sorento out of roller cars. It's too tall, guys. Sorry. Anybody with the Kia, got to go ahead and go with the Stinger instead.
Low angles.
Got to get those low angles. It's true. Are you putting more mileage though on the Vantage than you are the SC430? I feel like you are.
Yeah. So, okay. First of all, the Aston Martin has been more reliable than the SC430.
I've seen you post that.
Yeah. No. Its battery died. Its skid plate keeps falling off.
Oh God! What year is it? It's a
2008 with 100,000 miles.
Oh wow. Okay. I mean,
Um,
listen,
but it's
batteries
finally working
batteries
now.
die.
But
My battery died
the
yesterday.
Aston didn't.
It's true. This is true. My
Trying
battery
to just
died
have to
yesterday.
ask more.
Yeah.
What was that?
Sorry, Caitlin, go ahead.
I was just saying it's a sign to drive the Aston more.
I have
It
been.
sounds like you need a different car, Jorge, if your battery's dying.
Clearly.
I
Yeah.
have doubled the miles on the Aston since I bought it.
Oh my goodness.
Wait,
That's
wait, wait,
awesome.
wait. Time out. Hold on. Because I know how many miles you bought that thing with, because it was like 8,000. You've put
6,000, but
6,000. So you've put, there's 12. Well, I mean, power to you, dog. Like, that's crazy. Good on you. See, but again, like, testament. How many times have you and have the three of us talked about this in the past? Drive your cars. Literally,
Mhm.
drive your cars. You don't buy a ZL1 for it to go ahead and just chill in the garage. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like you bought your daily, Caitlin, for the exact reasons of using it as a daily, of course, and stuff like that. You go ahead and tow things with it and stuff like that. But like
Yeah.
I'm starting to go ahead. I know that you've been infatuated with your bikes as of late and stuff, but
Yeah,
like,
that gets the most miles, but I do still drive the car and I leave the fun miles for the car. The bike is now even getting more miles than my daily. I've put between all three of the bikes I've had in the last year, I've put, I believe, 15 or 16,000 miles on the bike,
wow.
15,000 miles on the truck in a year and a half. And then I think like maybe 7 or 8,000 total on the car in the last year and a half. So I haven't been driving the car as much, and that will change. But you're right, I've been infatuated with the bikes, and it's
Exactly. I don't
cheaper,
blame you.
and the toll camera can't catch it, and filling it up is $9. So can you blame me? But now that it's summer, that's
I
probably
don't.
gonna switch for a bit. So
I absolutely cannot blame you in any way, shape, or form. But again, I think it makes it that much more special for
yeah.
when you drive the ZL1. And
Mhm.
then the Aston is obviously so special that that's why you continue to drive it. You know what I mean? And like, I think that's what's so cool. And yes, do I need a different car? Bet your ass I do. Like, dog, we can't, like, let's not even go there. Like, I had a mutual friend of ours the other day go ahead and send me an 87 325i four door for like $2,200, and I definitely had to like pause for about 2 seconds and like reevaluate my life choices and be like, do I even consider this? And then I had to rethink about it one more time, and I was like, that's not feasible. It's not a good idea right
That's okay. That's okay.
it is what it is. And I keep here's the thing, and Caitlin, you know someone very close to you with an M2 comp and F87. I look at those things not even on the daily, like on the hour, just to go ahead and finally see as to whether or not they're getting down to like a feasible price point. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
like the M2 CSs are like still like on the cheap end, like 75. I'm like, I'm not dropping 75K on an M2 CS. Like that's just not happening.
Yeah, it's nuts. The prices are super high on those.
They are, but they are very, very cool cars. You bought your ZL1 at the exact right time, because as soon as you bought it, dude, they shot up, because it was like I think it was like 2 months before Chevy went ahead and officially called it.
Mine
And
was
so
still on the end where it was rumors of it, and there had been talks and all of the above that Camaro was ending, but having a stolen car before that, I didn't get to time the market. I needed to go get a car. So that
sure.
was the only jump I was willing to make. I didn't get to time it perfectly because it probably could have been cheaper, or I also could have gone with a different spec but I wanted that blue.
Well, honestly, I think you nailed it on the spec. You
Oh,
both did.
for what I wanted, yes. Blue
Yeah.
is my color and I love it. Alex has her yellow and it looks iconic on pretty much every car she chooses. So it works
True.
out perfectly.
For sure. Absolutely. And then actually, you know what the cool thing is? If you do go for a 570, you don't have to go ahead and try that hard to find yellows, because they did make a bunch of yellows. So like you'd actually be okay.
And it looks really nice on it.
It does. It does. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do something really quickly, because we are getting right to the time, and obviously we're going to go ahead and cut it a little bit short and everything this evening. But again, as we've always stated, quality over quantity every single time. We stated at the go ahead and top of the show and stuff that this is episode number 149. We're about to hit 150 on the episode after this. And then in a year from now, if the world is still, around and things of that nature, and as am I, 200 is literally right around the corner. You guys have been such an integral part of the growth of this podcast over the last like 3.5 years. I'm incredibly grateful to you both. for a variety of different reasons. KRC, I'll start with you. If you wouldn't mind telling, from your perspective and from your end, what's torment? Because the thing has always been, oh, what's car culture mean to you? We've obviously figured out now what bike culture means to you, but for the purposes of today, what does tormenting tarmac mean to you?
I would say Tormenting Tarmac represents what kind of friendships can form through cars and just how much you can learn. So I think it's pretty cool that like in every episode you get to talk to different people. We talk to each other, we catch up, we talk cars, and it just shows what the car community can do for you. And that even after it's been, how long has it been since I've been on an episode? We
Year
can
and a
just
half. Let's
back
not
up
have it
like
be that
10
long, by the way.
episodes.
Let's not
Fair
have
enough.
it be that
Fair
long.
enough. Fair enough. But it's just cool how you can pick back up, and there's so much to learn and so much to talk about, and just seeing how different people choose to, put their spin on their automotive interests. So it's just pretty cool. And when you talk about episode 149, it's just the possibilities are endless within the car scene. And this podcast shows that, because every time it's just something new, something different. So a different person to share their story, share their excitement, share their favorite cars. So I'd say that's what it means to me.
That sounds amazing, dude, and I'm very grateful to. Again, I don't know what people are going to say, so it's everybody has a different meaning of what this show means to them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because we've been around the block for a while now, and it's like, oh my god, like this really means a lot of different things to not just me, but to others. Alex, I think you're my number one guest. I'm pretty
Oh,
I'm pretty sure you're the person that's been on the podcast the most, which is amazing in and of itself. We never really planned for that, but like obviously our friendship has been so strong, and Steven's obviously, I wish Steven would have been here tonight to go ahead and celebrate with us too, but obviously he's doing his thing, and shout out to him, and I got nothing but love for him. But what has TT meant to you over the last 3.5 years and whatnot? I'd love to know.
so Tormenting Tarmac to me, it kind of feels like accumulation of the car culture, every aspect, every avenue. It's where everybody can kind of come and share what the car culture means to them. And every single person has a different kind of idea of what car culture is. And Tormenting Tarmac somehow captures it all, but not in a way that really, is like favors one over the other, but it shows like a broad scale from all these different perspectives of car culture, and it brings all these different people together where they can share their stories, talk about cars. And I mean, kind of going off what Kaitlyn was saying, it's amazing. Here we are in episode 149, and it's still a different story every time. I mean, it really is. There's endless opportunities, endless people, all with these different views of car culture, different stories to tell, different passions about cars. I mean, we can just talk about cars for hours with so many different people, and that kind of is what
We
Tormenting
have, by
Tarmac
the way, we have too.
is.
I remember one time we went ahead and hung out at a Cars and Coffee like a couple of years ago when you and I had just become friends, and I'm pretty sure we were hanging out in the parking lot for like 3 hours, literally talking about you lowering your GTI at the time you wanted to go with an M2 before the F80 became available and things of that nature. Kaitlyn was there, but she had to go because she literally had to fly back to Houston that day and things of that nature. I like, and we talked for like 3 hours of just this, and I was like, y'all get it, y'all just get it, you know what I mean? And I'm god, that like everything that you guys both said, it means so much, and I'm so happy that in some way, shape, or form, like it's meant something to you both and to anybody that's listening, things of that nature. It's like it is cool, like it's really rad, the fact that 149 episodes, dude, like that's a lot. Like, episode a week, 50 plus weeks a year, or yeah, no, 50 plus episodes in a year and things of that nature. Like a lot of work goes into it, Kaitlyn. You know that. A lot of work goes into your creativity. Alex, same thing for you. Like this is a creative outlet in some way, shape, or form. And we, the three of us, in some way, shape, or form, put our heart, soul, blood, sweat, I don't know about blood, unless I'm like, I got blood coming out of my nails or something. But you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like that's what this is. It's always been a passion project, and I hope to always maintain it as a passion project, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a hell of a ride, dude. And you guys were one of the very first ones, and you guys were the first ones from here. Even though Kaitlyn, you're still in Houston, you're still always going to remain integral, at least to me, part of the
Arizona's
Phoenix.
still home. Arizona's still
Arizona's
home.
still home.
Yeah.
I can't say it enough. We have some of the best car culture on the planet, dog. Not just the country, the planet. Like, oh my God, I love this place so much. Even though it's probably going to be 106 tomorrow, I don't care. Like,
Don't remind me.
yeah, God bless the wild, wild west, dude. It's the it's the best, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I thank you both so much for your friendship, and I thank you both for your time, and choosing to go ahead and hang out for a little bit and reminisce, and also just show us what you guys have both been up to over the last few months and or year, if you will. And I hope that we get a chance to go ahead and continue to do it. And Kaitlyn, I hope that you get a chance to go ahead and join us for Nights of the Photography Roundtable Part 4 or Part 5. 4, I think. I've lost track of how many Nights of the Photography Roundtables we've done.
I think we've done 3.
3 part 4 is coming up in December during Christmas. So if you're here for the holidays, my friend, it would be lovely to have you. And if not, then you'll be with us in spirit.
Sounds good.
But real quick, let's go ahead and plug everything before we go ahead and wrap it on up. Kaitlyn, we'll go ahead and start off with you, and we'll also plug everything that Pierce is up to too. Shout out to him.
Yeah. So my Instagram is @Cariciato for all of my car photography. Pretty much everything you want to find is there, and the website's linked, with my social media management and just all my portfolio. My boyfriend Pierce, his epoxy page is @Epoxy by Night, KNIGHT, night as in, like you said, Knights of the Round Table. So he does garage floors, commercial projects, both metallic flake, just really cool, creative stuff with epoxy. So you can check him out too @Epoxy by Night.
I love it. And then also shout out to all your clients, for anybody in the Houston area.
Yes.
If you're interested in any sports cars, if you want to go ahead and get fire extinguishers for your track cars, if you want to go ahead and get PPF by anybody and everybody, just talk to Kaitlyn and she's going to go ahead and send you to the right people. She's got you. She's got a variety of different stuff going on there. And then Alex, if you want to go ahead and of course plug away, my friend.
You can find my photography at automotive_Alex, and then you can find my car at yellow.car.girl.
So was Aston Alex not available?
It was not available, and
Damn
then I
it.
also got the SC430, and then I was like, well, the BMW is on here too, and they're all yellow, so
Yellow
That's
car girl is
fair.
going to work for no matter what you
That's
have.
like
That's
what
totally
everybody
fine.
just knows me as is, oh, you're the girl with the yellow cars, and I'm like,
This is
yes.
very true. This is very, very true. So I'm down with it. I dig it, and whatnot. And then yeah, it's been a blast, everybody, and I appreciate it. And just you guys are the best. For anybody who wants to go ahead and continue to follow the podcast, you can find us on Instagram @Tormenting Tarmac. We're just slaying away right there, chilling. 1,300 followers. Woo! You guys remember when it used to be like at 50? Yeah, we've stepped it up quite a bit from there, just a smidge.
Oh yeah.
And then of course you can go ahead and find our podcast, of course, streaming on Spotify and on Apple. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe, everything. If Alex and Kaitlyn are okay, we might put this one on YouTube if that's cool with you guys. So go ahead and there you go. You can find us on YouTube as well @Tormenting Tarmac. But at the end of the day, everybody, here's a little message from your boy. Whatever it is you feel passionate about, if somewhere you feel like you want to go ahead and do it, just do it. There's 2 testaments right here on tonight's podcast that can go ahead and show you, doesn't matter how unrealistic something might seem or how out of reach it might seem. If you just bust your ass and you're really, 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 really good at what you do, there's nothing stopping you. And there will always be people there to go ahead and help you along the way, to lift you up when you're down and things of that nature. Love those people, because they're the ones that are going to be there at the end of the day, just like my friends are here for episode 149. Kaitlyn Clink, Alex Sczudlo, my name is Jorge Aquino. You all have been listening to the 149th installment of Tormenting Tarmac, and this podcast is set to self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2. Holy effing airball, guys. See you for 150.